my name is Zheng Nan. I'm from Chengdu University Social Welfare Department. The title of my paper is The Moderating Effect of Satisfaction with Community Child Center Service on Abuse Experience and School Adjustment of Children. The content of my presentation is as follows. 1. Introduction. 2. Literature review. 3. Method. 4. Results. 5. Discussion. Introduction. The development of school-aged children varies according to their age and environment. It is especially important for children after 10 years of age because they experience rapid changes in all areas of development, including the physical, cognitive, emotional, and social areas. School environment is the second home when it comes to the place of social interaction. Desirable school adjustment increases children's sense of self-confidence and responsibility and leads to a positive effect on reaching adulthood. However, children abused at home suffer from maladjustment such as academic achievement difficulties, aggression and misconduct, and poor learning, and also have difficulties in peer relationships. The community support system around the children can mitigate the effect of risk factors arising from the home environment through various programs and services. Community Child Center is a representative child welfare institution that supports children's development and can offset the impact of restrictions through the use of services. It also increases self-esteem, restore internal conflicts and programs, and has a positive effect on school adaptation. The purpose of this study is to examine the school adjustment, focusing on children who have experienced abuse at home, and to examine whether the service satisfaction of the community children's center could be a protection factor or a moderating effect in the relationship between the abuse experience and the school adjustment. My research questions are: first, how does the abuse experience affect children's school adjustment? Second, how does the satisfaction with the service of community child centers affect children's school adjustment? Third, does the satisfaction with the service from community child centers buffer the negative effect of abuse experience and the children's school adjustment? The literature review on abuse experience and school adjustment are as follows. When children perceive the family and parental conflict as emotional abuse, it was found that school maladjustment is likely to increase. Parental neglect and abuse negatively affect school adjustment and self-relations, parent, teacher, friend. Attachment, self-awareness mediate school adjustment. Studies have shown that school adjustment of abused children is increased through mediating and regulating effects of self-elasticity, parent, teacher, friend, achievement, self-awareness, self-identity, and antagonism in life. Risk factors such as depression and aggression were also studied. Although the intervention of institutions that protect children in the community may improve the function of children who have experienced abuse, studies using community factors have not been covered. The literature review on community child centers and school adjustment were as follows. The higher community child centers satisfactory service, the more likely it is that children will perform good in their peer relationships. Children's satisfaction with the service from community child centers has a direct effect on school adjustment. The higher community child centers satisfaction with learning support, counseling and friendship services, and higher the individual of school adjustment. Through these studies, it can be understood that the satisfaction with the service from community child centers can protect the risk factors affecting school adjustment and potentially enhance the school adjustment of children. This study used the first survey 2018 data from the Community Child Center third panel. In total, 536 fourth graders were selected as the subjects of this study. The measurement on the variables are school adjustment, 4-point Likert scale, which included a total of 8 questions, with 2 questions in each of the 4 categories of learning, rules, peers, and teachers. The Crumba Alpha is 0.8. Abused experience, 4-point Likert scale with 4 questions on physical and emotional abuse. The Crumba Alpha is 0.8. Satisfaction with the service from community child centers. 9 questions that asked how helpful it was to you for the 9 services provided. The Crumba Alpha is 0.9. The data was analyzed using SPSS and a mouse. Results: descriptive statistics analysis. In this study, it is shown that both skewness and kurtosis have a form of normal distribution with an absolute value not exceeding 2. Correlation analysis. Abuse experience, school adjustment, and satisfaction with community child center service had a negative correlation, and satisfaction with community child center service and school adjustment had a positive correlation. analysis measurement model. The fate of the model was statistically significant. The fate of the model was statistically significant. Both the centralized validity and verification of discernment validity were found to meet the criteria. Moderating effect. The goodness of fight index of the structural model is suitable for the simple theta. Abused experience had a negative effect on school adjustment. Satisfaction with the service from community child centers has a positive effect on school adjustment. The interaction term of the abused experience and satisfaction with the service from community child centers has a negative effect on school adjustment. Even in a situation where the level of abused experience of abuse is high, the group with high service satisfaction from community child centers has a higher level of school adjustment than the low group. It also appeared when the abused experience was low. Finally, the discussion points of my study are first, strengthening the protection role of community child centers. Discussion on how community child centers can become protective factors to boost children's school adjustment levels. When creating a community child center program, the center's administrators should be able to acquire the skills needed for helping children to adjust to school environment and relate this information with the school to identify the children's school adjustment level. Second, interventions for preventing abuse at home. For high degrees of abuse, prevention and intervention at home is important because the protective factors may not work. This is a need to educate the children, parents, and families, or use community resources to manage the cases. In addition, community child center staff should be sensitive to cases of child abuse and immediately intervene in such situations. Second, expansion of support for community child centers. In order to improve satisfactory service of community child centers, support is not only needed for children, but for the staff as well as the institution itself. Service quality can be enhanced with policy improvements such as increasing operating expenses and the number of minimum required workers and internal capability changes which involve abuse prevention, intervention education, and reinforcement of skills. Thank you.